Hello, CZsWorld. I know this isn't the type of content you would usually expect from me, but I'm feeling kind of experimental right now, so let me know if this is something you'd like to see from me in this poll right here. And don't worry, this doesn't count towards my video for this week, just something that I thought I'd try out. So here we see the Death Note falling into the human world, as it should. The one difference being that it falls into an area where Light is sitting by himself, as opposed to in the anime where he just notices it fall past the window and happens to be the first one to pick it up. So what's the difference? In this film, you could say that the Shinigami who dropped it was giving it to Light on purpose, knowing full well what he's capable of doing with it. You'll notice that the Death Note itself has some strange markings on the top corners. This could be something as simple as the book having been removed from the chain that Ryuk uses to sling it around his shoulder. That would mean that in this movie, Light actually has Ryuk's Death Note, whereas in the anime, he has the Death Note that Ryuk stole from Sido. So Ryuk may not have multiple notebooks in this version. And here he is. Here's Ryuk. Looks great in this light, no pun intended. Gods of Death love apples, and here we see an apple moving on its own, but also other objects swirling around the room. I can't say for sure if the presence of a Shinigami is what is causing that swirling, but I will say if it is, it could be even more of a security threat to Light. In the anime, he had to worry about Ryuk simply picking up and eating an apple on camera, as it would appear like a floating apple that disappears to the naked eye. But this swirling phenomena could prove to be much more of a distraction. Okay, so the film takes place in Seattle, because this is an American version of Death Note, but why Seattle as opposed to any other American city? My theory is that it's most reminiscent of Tokyo. Both cities feature a tall, skinny observation tower. In Seattle, it's the Space Needle. In Tokyo, it's Tokyo Tower. Both have a Ferris wheel on their skyline as well. As you'll see later, the Ferris wheel comes into play into the plot somehow. I couldn't find any real high schools abbreviated with the letters NSH in Seattle, but let me know if you can find any in the comments. What's interesting here is that the girl on the right looks more like Misa Amane, mostly because of her hair, but this girl in the middle looks to be an actress named Margaret Qualley. According to IMDb, she's playing a character named Mia Sutton. Mia S. It seems like Mia may be the American counterpart. It would also seem that she's a bit younger if she's still in high school, and she probably isn't a celebrity anymore. Maybe just a popular cheerleader instead. Also, she smokes now, unless that's Matt, and they've just turned him into a female for this movie. Just kidding. It's hard to tell from this lighting, but this looks to be a guy named Lakeith Stanfield, the actor who's playing L. If so, this is a big departure from the usual white shirt, blue jeans L that we're used to seeing. He's also wearing a mask that covers half of his face, which could be paired with a visor or glasses of some sort to protect his identity. As you probably know, Kira needs a name and a face to kill someone using the Death Note. On Light's desk, we see another apple and some kind of little propeller-based machine, maybe a drone of some kind. This tells us not only that Light is still a genius in this adaptation, but also could foreshadow the use of a helicopter later. If you've seen the show, you know that one of the most pivotal turning points in the series takes place while Light is in a helicopter. In this shot, we learn that Light is left-handed, as opposed to him being right-handed in the series and the Japanese live-action adaptations. This makes me wonder if this will be used against him in the movie. If you aren't aware, left-handed writers tend to run their hand against the page when writing in English or any other language that goes from left to right, and as a result, their hand smudges against the text that they've just written. L could use this to determine that Kira is left-handed if he were to obtain the notebook. This also narrows down the search a lot, considering that most people are right-handed. This area has the same red lighting as the area where we saw L walking before, meaning that L may actually be investigating the scene of the crime himself. This, once again, goes against what we're accustomed to with L's character. In the light novel, The Los Angeles BB Murder Cases, we learn that L likes to work behind the scenes and sends Naomi Misara to do the physical investigation for him. We also see the name Kira being used, which is noteworthy considering the characters have been given Americanized names, like Light Turner instead of Light Yagami, and Mia Sutton instead of Misa Amane. But in the anime, the name Kira originates from the Japanese pronunciation of the English word killer, so perhaps Japan does play some part in this movie after all. In the anime, Kira does occasionally leave little calling cards or false clues to L when he kills criminals, but for the most part, he just leaves the media to come up with the idea of Kira on their own. This message on the wall seems much more blatant. Here's this girl again, and if this is her making out with Light, then there's a good chance that she is in fact supposed to be Misa. Unless, of course, director Adam Wingard is just throwing us a curveball, and that's actually Kiyomi Takeda, which would make some sense because of the fact that Light meets her in college in the anime, so he could just be meeting her in high school in this film. Towards the end of the trailer, we see this Ferris wheel getting crushed, and Light seems to be saving someone. This leads me to ponder a few possibilities. Is this part of one of Light's plans, much like how he causes the catastrophe on the bus to learn more about Ray Penber? Is this the work of a Shinigami trying to get their Death Note back? I only suggest this because of the way that the Ferris wheel bends in as if an invisible force is crushing it. And one more possibility is that someone else has a Death Note, and they're trying to kill someone on the Ferris wheel or send a message to Light. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. And don't forget to weigh in on if you like this type of video. If you're new to CZsWorld and you love Death Note, then please consider subscribing to the channel. I'm a filmmaker and I love to make psychological horror content, so it should be right up your alley. I've got new horrors every other week, so ring that death bell for notifications and I'll see you in the next one. Assuming we both survive.